Hanover Square Press and HarlequinAudio present The Lady from the Black Lagoon, Hollywood Monsters and the Lost Legacy of Milicent Patrick by Mallory O'Meara. This is the author. Dedication. To all the monster girls. Show them your teeth. In a low-cut, tight-fitting black crepe dress worn under a white lace coat with flashing necklace, earrings, and bracelets, Miss Patrick, who is of Italian-German descent, looked a lot more like a fashion illustration herself than a creator of bizarre monsters. Unmarried, she admits to no current romance. "Why should I bother with the Hollywood wolves?" she murmured. "I'm happy with my monsters." Milicent Patrick in an interview with journalist Jane Corby for the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, Valentine's Day, 1954. Author's note. During the course of Milicent Patrick's life, she went by many names. To keep things straight for me as a writer, and you as a reader, I'm going to refer to her as Milicent throughout the book, even during the early days of her life, long before she decided to call herself Milicent Patrick. Milicent was the name that she chose for herself. It's the name I'll use to tell her story. Introduction. In 1954, Milicent Patrick was an artist working for the world-renowned special effects shop at Universal Studios in California, the movie company famous for its monsters. Dracula, the Mummy, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein's monster all had leaped from the studio there onto the silver screen and eventually into the pantheon of film legends. That year, Universal was gearing up to unleash their latest horror creation upon the world, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Milicent Patrick had just made history by designing it. No woman had ever designed a monster for a major motion picture before. Universal sent Milicent on a press tour across the country to promote the film. During the months she was away, a storm of resentment and jealousy raged back at the studio. The head of the makeup shop, a man named Bud Westmore, wanted the recognition Milicent was getting. Even though he received sole on-screen credit for the creature, he couldn't stand seeing Milicent in the spotlight while he stayed behind at Universal. By the time she returned to Hollywood, she no longer had a job. He pulled her from the film project she had already started working on and refused to hire her for future work. After that, Milicent never designed another monster. She never designed anything for film ever again. Her name faded into obscurity, while the creature went on to become one of the most iconic movie creations of all time. On-screen credits in the 1950s were not as comprehensive as they are today. Her name does not appear anywhere in the film. Her contribution to cinematic history soon sank into a black lagoon of its own. The only people who remembered her were dedicated monster fans. Even they were in the dark as to where she went, what happened to her. That's where I come in. Until I started writing this book, the previous few paragraphs were all I, or any of my horror film colleagues, knew about Milicent Patrick. She is, at the time that I write this in 2018, still the only woman to have designed an iconic movie monster. Her rise, fall, and disappearance behind the scenes in Hollywood is the type of story films are made of, the type of story that needs to be told. This book started as a straightforward biography, the fascinating story of a fascinating person. But the more people I told about the project, the more I was asked why I was doing it. She was some woman who designed a monster for an old black and white movie. Why was that important? It was a good question to think about as I began to spend all of my savings and all my spare time investigating what happened to this woman who I didn't know and wasn't related to. Why was I doing this? Why did it matter so much? When I first heard Milicent's story, my heart lurched with a terribly familiar ache. Hearing about a career beset by sexism, I could easily put myself in her shoes. I have the same pair. Every woman in film has them. They're standard issue and they're uncomfortable as hell. Almost every day of my life as a filmmaker, I face the same kind of infuriating, misogynistic bullshit that Milicent faced in 1954. I didn't have to imagine what it felt like for her, because I constantly feel it myself. So many women share this experience, women in every profession. We're ignored, sexually harassed, talked down to, plagiarized, and insulted in and out of the workplace. It's worse.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?